Have you ever woken up in a place you don't recognize, with no memory of how you got there? What if I told you? Sometimes waking up is just the beginning of the nightmare. Let me tell you a story. One day I woke up gasping for air. My body was cold, my skin damp with sweat. But the moment I opened my eyes, I knew something was wrong. This wasn't my room. The ceiling above me was cracked and stained, cobwebs clinging to the corners. The walls were covered in peeling, faded wallpaper, the kind you'd find in an abandoned house. The air smelled of damp wood and something rotten, something old. My bed, if you could even call it that, was just a thin mattress on the floor, covered in a moth-eaten sheet. I sat up, my pulse racing. Where was I? The last thing I remembered was falling asleep in my apartment. My cozy bed, my locked door. But now, this place felt wrong. The silence was too thick, too heavy, as if the world outside didn't exist. I swung my legs off the bed and stood, unsteady, my body tense with fear. There was only one door in the room, slightly ajar. Beyond it, a long, dark hallway stretched into nothingness. The wallpaper here was even more ruined, torn in places like someone had clawed at it. A sick feeling crawled up my spine. I stepped forward. The floor creaked beneath me, the sound echoing unnaturally. I moved cautiously, glancing over my shoulder every few steps, afraid of what I might see. The hallway seemed endless. Each door I passed shut tight. But then, ahead of me, I heard it, a whisper. I froze. My heart pounded against my ribs. I wasn't alone. Summoning every ounce of courage, I reached for the nearest doorknob and turned it. The door creaked open, revealing nothing. Panic crept in. I turned back toward the hallway and saw a figure standing at the end. It was tall and thin, its head tilted too far to the side. The shadows swallowed most of its form, but I could see its eyes, dark, hollow pits staring straight at me. I blinked. It was closer. I stepped back. The floor groaned beneath me. My stomach twisted. I turned to run, but my body felt heavy, like I was moving through water. And then I felt it. Breath. Cold. Right against my ear. You're not supposed to wake up. Everything went black. When I woke up again, I stared at the dark handprint on my bedroom wall. My breath shallow. My body frozen in fear. My door was still locked. My windows were shut. But deep inside, I knew the truth. I never made it back. Somewhere out there, in that endless hallway, my real body was still trapped, still searching for a way out. And if you're listening to this, if you ever wake up in a place you don't remember, don't move, don't breathe, and whatever you do, don't turn around. Because if you do, you might wake up somewhere else too. Subscribe now, before it finds you next.